Bank Fishing Secrets, that fall fishing edition. Today we're going to be targeting some largemouth bass and talking about fishing from the bank during fall. So I chose 3 of my favorite fall time lures for this video today, each a very useful tool from the bank. The tube, 2.75 inch ingrain pumpkin, a Zoom Swimming Super Fluke Junior, any 3 to 4 inch paddle tail is gonna do, and last but not least, the crankbait. Before we get into it, let's get that skunk off our back. Just a disclaimer, I am very familiar with this area. It's I've fished it for years. I kind of know where these fish are going to be. Tomorrow though, we're going to go to an area I've never fished before during fall time and try to figure it out together. There we go, fish on, guys, and a nice one. Oh, that's a good fish. Come on, man. Caught him from kind of far back, but yeah, that's a decent bass. That's what I'm talking about. Right off the rip. Come on up, buddy. Go ahead, you take that drag. Beautiful. And way to get started today. All right, well, here we go, guys. Beautiful largemouth, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just take a look at that fish. Awesome start today. We're gonna get her in, keep going at it, get into the brunt of this video. Thank you, girl. Let's get you back in there. All right, you're ready to go. All right, so we caught that fish on a Zoom Swimming Super Fluke Junior, one of my favorite paddle tails. Paddle tail in general is one of my favorite fall time baits, especially in a white or off-white color. I got that on a 1/4 ounce weighted jig head. We're running 10-pound fluorocarbon to a heavy rod. Yeah. So one thing I try to do out here is follow the forage. Try and identify areas holding bait fish, blow-ups, you know, little snapple, crackle, and pops out there. If I can't find that, I'll hit spots I've caught fish in before. If I'm in a completely new area, I'm going to target features I believe will be holding fish. Points are really big to me this time of year, while I prefer kind of deeper cuts during summertime. This time of year, I really like wind-blown points. So on my way up here, I did see multiple blow-ups, so we're going to be throwing a square bill up on this riprap. And which one are we using today? Let's see. Tennessee shad. Probably one of the most productive baits come fall to work off this riprap. Also one of the most frustrating because they do snack up quite often. I can usually pop them right out of the rocks, but occasionally I'll lose them. It can be quite expensive. I used to really rely heavily on these in fall, and I've kind of subbed them out for that paddle tail. I just work the paddle tail a bit more aggressively. But I haven't thrown one of these in a while, so let's have some fun with it. This is one of my favorite times of year because you can catch fish all day long. You can get them in the morning, evening, afternoon, you name it. In summer, I tend to really lean towards mornings. Winter, kind of a midday thing for me, but this time of year, all day long, just gotta find them. Okay, so they're chasing. We're like right in that area. They're coming from like right over here. Yeah. This bait's like similar profile to what they're chasing as well. I don't know if they can. Oh, there we go, fish on. I was gonna say, I don't know if they can see me or what the deal is. We got one. Oh my gosh, that is a, holy cow, that's a nice fish, man. It's fish of the day, fish of the day, fish of the day. Now the dangerous part. I guess it's similar to what we caught earlier. That's a big fish. That's an absolute unit. Whew. Man. Talk about a beautiful, beautiful fish. But look at her, my friends. What an absolute day maker. I think we can catch another one. I saw like 2 or 3 of them shooting through the water. We're gonna get her back in really quick. Let's just admire this beautiful, beautiful largemouth bass. Thank you for biting. Get her back in. Keep going at it. There she goes. Let's get this bait back out there. Capitalize on this. So they're like right out here. The bait fish they're chasing, they almost look like bluegill. Fat little fellas, I can't really tell. Darker, but this squarebill looks similar profile wise. Kind of stands out with those rattles as well. This is a KVD 1.5. Now I've fished better squarebills, absolutely. However, for just over $5, man, you can't beat it. It's got an absolutely stellar action. Gets hit just as well, and it's a lot easier for me to stomach losing $5, $6 than some of these $10 crankbaits I've fished before. In a previous breaking down the baits portion, I mentioned a 20-minute rule where if I don't catch a fish within 20 minutes, I'm jumping. Come fall time, if there's bait in the area, if fish are actively feeding on it, that kind of goes out the window. I'll stay just as long as it takes. If it's, you know, something ridiculous like over an hour, I will absolutely jump. But for the most part, I'm willing to put in a little bit more time out here. When you're fishing rock heavy like I am, good idea to kind of just check your line, check your knot. Breakoffs are just absolutely tragic when they're nice fish as well. This is the squarebill I'm working now. It's like a bluegill pattern, little sunfish pattern one. Pretty neat. Picked it up in Illinois at Bass Pro when I was fishing down there with my brother. Good fish. Yes. Oh man, he got some weight to it. Or her, and they're just blowing up all around her. Oh my goodness. Is this bigger than our last one? I don't know, it's hard to tell. Oh yeah, it is. My goodness. That is a fatty booba laddie. Oh, got your eyelid. Let me get that. Sorry about that. Holy cow. What an absolute unit. Oh, just thick. All right, she needs to be shown off. Just look at her. Look at the belly on that fish, man. That's a thick fish. We'll get a weight on her real quick. I'm guessing probably close to 3, if not in the 3s. Just a stellar day out here. Zeroed out. Could have fooled me. Put up one heck of a fight though. We'll get her back in. I might throw another cast. I kind of have to. All right. Thank you, girl. And off she goes, man. Just a beautiful fish. Made a quick jump just to check this area out. Haven't fished here in a hot minute. And we got the wind coming at us, which is a good thing. What's that? That's weird. Skipjack. Another skipjack. Crazy how people kill them like that. Now when it comes to wind, probably hate fishing in it more than any other element. I'd rather have snow, but when I am working it, I like to cast in the wind. I like to fish that wind-blown side. It's just natural for these fish to kind of flock to it, for that bait to come to it, to pick up what's getting blown. That was a good bite. All your plankton, all your little debris that little bait fish like to eat, bring them into the area, and the bass follow. Fish on. What do we got here? Oh, nice bass, man, in the wind. What's up, buddy? A spot, and a beautiful spotted bass. Well, there we go, guys. Beautiful Kentucky spotted bass right here. You can tell by that prominent tongue patch in there. Also that white belly with that checkered kind of look to it, that spotted look to it. Really, really pretty. Decent size too. We'll get her back in. Keep going at it. That one was on the tube. I'm really just popping a tube around, kind of letting it drift in this current. Hopefully this wind isn't too bad on the audio. I'm sure it's going to be a struggle to edit. Thanks for biting, buddy. See if we can do that again. Well, good morning, everybody. It is day 2 of this fishing video. We're in a completely different location, different environment, slightly different conditions. So I selected some new lures to kind of work today. Some very, very similar, a couple that are a little bit different. But before we get into that, I do have a quick shout out, a quick little mail call to our new friend to the channel, Chuck D. Thank you, Chuck, for reaching out. He hit me up on Instagram, told me his buddy makes bass fishing lures, and offered to send me one. Immediately I tried to buy one and he said he doesn't sell them, he just makes them. It's excellent craftsmanship. I wanted to show y'all this. Man, check that out. Just excellent craftsmanship. It's super beautiful. The hooks rotate. Very, very excited to get this out on the water. I actually checked my mail on the way out here and popped this open once I was already in the vehicle. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a rod heavy enough to throw it on today, so we will be fishing it on another day. Let's get into the baits I brought with me. So I ditched the square bill. This environment is very, very, there's not big chunk rock here. It's a lot of smaller rocks. It's muddy, kind of laden with smaller rock. So I did want to keep a rattling bait. I wanted to keep a crankbait of sorts, excuse me. So we are running a lipless crankbait, which also performs really, really well here. Come summertime, I actually haven't fished this environment when it's been this cold. So hopefully we're able to get something on. If not, I can jump around and try to find something. We'll be able to catch fish today. It's going to happen, but kind of select what crankbait we're using today. And we're going 1/4 ounce. They do quite well here. I'm gonna start out with one of these fellas. So it looks like we got 4, but I do like that color a lot. It's subtle, but still pops. As the sun comes out, if it comes out, we're supposed to have an overcasty day. I'll probably switch to something like this. On the other hand, I downgraded the paddle tail. So we are working with a spark shad now. I do have some larger flukes as well. It didn't perform as well as I wanted it to yesterday, so I figured downsizing it might make a little bit of a difference, especially here, and keeping the tube. Anyhow, let's get this bait on the water. Let's get this skunk off my back and figure out what these fish are biting on this early, freezing cold morning. So basically, I'm kind of looking for signs of life right now. Seeing little minnows here and there, but nothing too significant. It's very, very cold. It's about 44 right now. Looking at getting into the mid-50s as a high today. A significant decrease from the temperatures yesterday. I'm gonna start out on this point, try to catch something off of it as it warms up. I'm thinking that this area is really gonna heat up. Then again, I don't really know. I haven't fished this area when it's been this cold yet, so we'll see what we can do. Pretty much looking for active fish out here. Good fish. Okay. Hey, that's I mean, it feels like it's got some nice size. Granted, I'm kind of dragging it up the slope right here. Oh yeah, that's a really nice fish. That's got my confidence up like crazy. Holy cow. This might warrant a weight, I don't know. Let's get it in. That's a big. Maybe not. Not as big as I initially thought. Oh yeah, that's a chunk, man. Oh, wow. That's a beauty, my friends. And that is a confidence raiser. That is a massive Tennessee largemouth. Take a look at that fish. So just an absolutely stellar start to our day. I mean, this was within a couple casts out there. I think probably 2. And I started working that bait really, really slow when we got hit. I thought it was a snag initially. It's one of those bites, just a tank of a fish. I am gonna get a weight on her. I mean, just take a look at that. I wish I had better lighting out here right now, which I don't. I'm thinking probably north of 3, maybe in the 4s. Zeros. This is like the one time of year I actually weight fish. Maybe I just feel like it's extra big, but it looks, I mean, that thing's got some shoulders on it. Maybe I'll check my scale when I get home. Let's get her back in. Keep going at it. Awesome, awesome sign for the day. And off she goes. Whoops. Wow. You gotta take a moment to appreciate this southeast fall weather, man. Fishing wise, no place I'd rather be. Summers, I'd probably rather be in the upper Midwest fishing. I mean, they just have absolutely awesome summers. Winters, I'd go more south, maybe Florida, something like that. But fall and springtime, the southeast is absolutely unbeatable in my opinion. I think it's really something special out here. That bite stays consistent through about this time of year till mid-December. Time to catch the bigs. They're chasing bait out here. It's just an absolutely awesome place to fish, and well, it's home, so I absolutely love it, but gotta be thankful for that. Now let's get this bait back in the water and catch a couple more. Man, I'm done weighing fish on you. I don't think it'll work right. Maybe it does. The reason I chose to start out with that tube is just because of how well I did in this exact spot during summer. Same reason I chose this spot too. I figured I could catch a couple little fish, kind of raise my confidence, couple pounders, something like that, but didn't expect a big old one to be sitting here. They're usually in that area down there. And I was gonna give the water some time to warm up. On my initial cast, I felt pretty lacking in the confidence department when retrieving that, not catching that fish, and really slowed it down. And I could tell it was a big fish. I didn't know it was that big. You're kind of dragging them through the mud here too because of this drop off, so it really adds to the fight. There we go. Certainly not as large. That was pretty quick though. You're very flippable, my friend. Well, good start to the day. Thank you. So I guess if I had one real piece of advice to newer anglers out there or people struggling to get bit this time of year, is that fall fishing can be absolutely amazing. A lot of it's not really luck, it's picking the right place at the right time and using that right method to catching that right bait. There we go, that's a fish. The other day I was out fishing, and the day before I started shooting this video, I spent like 5 hours on the water. I caught like 2 little dink bass, and it could be really discouraging. Part of me was like, oh, let's wait a few days to get out on the water, but I decided to go out yesterday and had an absolutely stellar day. Oh, pretty. This one's a little skinnier, a little longer though. I mean, that's 3 fish in the first probably 15 minutes maybe. Okay, we're on. What's up, buddy? You're not huge, but I'm thankful for you. Take over here to unhooking. Got him right under the tongue, but looks like it's kind of a perfect hook right in there that I can remove easily. Pop up in this bail. So I do carry 2 sets of pliers, my kind of big ones, for pulling out bigger hooks. But I like these smaller, finessing ones for jobs like this. There we go. As little damage to the fish as possible. I don't want to wrench that thing out. And he will live to grow much bigger. That water is actually pretty warm. So we've completely jumped areas now. Slog's new. I haven't fished this place in some time, but it's very similar when it comes to features it has to offer. Bottom composition, that sort of thing. I'm hoping we can do just as well here, if not better. I would be thankful with a couple big fish. Hey, fish on. It's like a little fella. Oh, a chubby one. So they are sitting here, kind of where I thought they'd be. A largemouth. Boy, you're warm. I'll get you back in. So I pulled them off a pile of rock right out here. Just really popping this bait in quite slowly. This time of year I really lean towards bait fish oriented plastics. Lures as well, crankbaits, your even tubes that kind of present them like a goby. That's another fish. That's a good fish, man. Oh man. It's not huge, but he's bigger. It felt really big. Alright, we're on him, man. That's 2. Pretty, a little bit bigger. Threw me for a loop, man. I think I was pulling him through some rock. There we go. That's a little better. It is a little better. Not a giant by any means, but I can work with that. It's a little better than these dinks we've been picking up. Thanks, buddy. We pulled that bigger one from right about here. I'm just gonna kind of continue to slowly almost jig my bait in place and hope for another fish to, yep. Oh, that's a nicer one. To find me, that's what I was gonna say. Feels a lot better. Okay. Having wrapped up around these rocks. Yeah, that's a nice fish. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And that is why we came here today. Check her out. beautiful. So this is why we came here today. Beautiful largemouth, only a 2-pounder. Because the lighting is all around poor out here, but very, very beautiful fish. Very healthy fish, well fed, minus that little sore on her back. However, we're gonna get her back in. I figured if I kind of keyed into where those dinks were hitting and maybe went a little bit deeper where we caught that one bigger fish, we might be able to pull another one, and sure enough we did. I'm gonna kind of repeat that. I got about 30 more minutes here, so might as well stay. Let's get you back in, kind of away from these rocks. And off she goes. Well, it is getting very, very windy out here. Really, really cold, and I gotta get going. Had a great day fishing. I'll see y'all back at the place for a quick breaking down the bait segment. I'll show y'all what we were working with. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one as always. If you found it entertaining, interesting, or learned something, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing. It really does help the channel out a lot and motivates me to keep making these videos. Anyhow, guys, I am gonna shoot through this breaking down the baits portion. I'm not gonna jump down any crazy rabbit holes today. I'm not gonna weigh anything. I'm not gonna talk about baits we didn't catch fish on because I'm very, very sick right now. Me and my son both developed some pretty wicked colds. It kind of shot our weekend plans, and now we're just staying in, playing Legos and watching movies and stuff, but it's nothing serious, just very, very annoying. Anyhow, guys, let's get started with the Zoom Swimming Super Fluke Junior. So, kind of mentioned before, I absolutely love paddle tails. I've fished these very, very often. It's kind of like my go-to bait of fall and winter time. I absolutely love one. I always have one with me come this time of year. This is the Swimming Super Fluke Junior in white ice. It's very, very versatile bait. I prefer to rig it with a jig head. I like that control of having the weight centered on the nose of that Swimming Super Fluke Junior. But I don't mind rigging it other ways. It's an extremely versatile bait in the way you can rig it. You can slap this on a swim jig. You can use it as a trailer. If you so choose, you can fish it with the standard jig head. You can use an EWG type jig head. It is what it is. You can rig it for just about anything and keep that tail flopping, getting that bite. You can also fish it many, many ways. You can burn it, you can twitch it, you can smack it through the rocks, you can slowly jig it, you can slow roll it. Just an awesome all-around fantastic bait. It's one of my main baits this time of year. Anyhow, moving on to the square bills. Now, I'm not gonna get crazy on these, but I could. I do wanna make a video specifically geared towards these baits. Unfortunately, I lost that really, really cool red one, or that like sunfish colored one, whatever. A couple casts after catching that fish, but it was a KVD 1.5. Now, I love these ones because they're just, when it comes to value, basically something that's extremely affordable and still gets the job done. I'm all about it, and that's certainly what this crankbait is right here. This is a 2 to 4 foot diving square bill, and a lot of fun to fish. Again, I'm not gonna jump down any crazy rabbit holes with these baits right now, though I do plan on it in another video because I have fished these a lot. This used to be one of my major go-to confidence baits. I'd fish them year-round, and I'd have really, really great results on them. It ended up just being too expensive for me in the long run, but great bait right there. This one isn't, this is like a stealth, I don't know. This one doesn't have a rattle in it. You can get the hard knock version, which, is that it? No, is this one it? Yeah, there you go, hard knock. Nice little rattle in there. When it comes to lipless, I love rattles. Comes to square bills, I like rattles too, but I don't mind saving a couple bucks and throwing one of these and just smacking the crap out of them on some rocks. And last but not least, we have that Strike King Bitsy tube. Now, day 2, I caught every single fish on this, and it's not for lack of trying. I tried throwing the trap, I tried throwing that old lipless crankbait. The little paddle tail, I couldn't get anything to bite it. What I could get bit on was this tube, almost exclusively. Actually, very much so, exclusively. Now, this is rigged with a 1/8 ounce tube head jig. Let me show y'all right now. Just kind of shove it up in the tube, and it ends up looking like this. You poke that little eye through. I'm not gonna do it right now. 2.75 inch tube in green pumpkin. So I did make a point to bring these baits because I had a feeling we were gonna be getting hit on them a lot day 2. Basically what happened in this video was a cold front swept through, and not a very severe one. We went from like 75 to 80 degrees the week prior, and boom, yesterday or 2 days ago, basically day 1 of this video happened, and temperature dropped down to like 65 degrees. So it was like a 20-degree drop. And in my experience this time of year, when that happens, the fish really get active. Day 1, the water is still a lot warmer than the air. It just drives them absolutely crazy. And I knew I would just get torn up on this bait. That's why I brought them. That's why I decided to bring that bait as well as this bait. Now I'm kind of surprised this one didn't do quite as well, but I guess I didn't fish it as much. What happened the next day was the temperature continued to drop. It got even colder, so we got a very heavy wind coming through. The water I was fishing, the location I went to the next day, the water is a lot more shallow there. I knew it wouldn't hold the heat as well. I figured the fish wouldn't be as active, so I wanted to bring a Ned rig type bait, or a bait I could pop slowly, that being the tube. I thought this might be the trick. I had a hope, like some small hopes that I could get hit on the paddle tail and the lipless crankbait. It just didn't work out the way I planned. Anyhow, guys, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and get some good fish on, my friends. I gotta eat a crap ton of spaghetti with my boy and start working on healing us up for this coming week. I'll catch y'all later.